Welcome to the Endless Honeymoon Podcast Secret Dump.
Yeah, we've got some great questions people are asking.
People been submitting these questions, and we are ready to answer one. Natasha, you picked a special one out. It felt targeted at me.
Yes, how do I deal with my partner's messiness? What was it?
Yeah, how to cultivate more patience
Oh, yeah, that part.
for your partner's shortcomings, i.e. messiness.
Yes, that is really hard because, when we went to Paris, we were staying at this really nice place, and you were looking for something and just dumped the contents of your bag out on the chaise lounge, and then that made me mad, and then I realized, I'm just going to have COVID tests and socks all over chaise lounges. It's just something, it's like part of my karma.
To have flow right.
Just to have some,
the thing was, we were working at a game show in London, and they gave us one COVID test for every day we were there. We were there for 14 days, and we didn't end up taking them. Because why were we going to take them? You just take one at the end and then you know. And so we ended up having about 15 extra COVID tests. Those are like $20 a pop.
Which you carried around with you in your backpack.
I'm smuggling those over international borders in order to bring them back home. And now I have a lifetime supply.
But you were looking at something and then you just dumped your whole backpack out all over the nice room.
So this is how you cultivated patience for it?
No, and then I was thinking I guess there are worse qualities.
Than messiness?
Yeah.
Like what?
If we were on vacation and I was
domestic violence?
That. Or I really thought you were not into me or pursuing someone else. Or I don't know. There could be a lot of, or maybe you're not a nice person. You're such a nice guy.
I'll tell you what.
Those things are important.
Thank you. I'll tell you what you do that isn't cultivating patience this is a conflict we get into constantly. Rather than bring up the mess itself, the thing. So rather than say, hey, would you pick those COVID tests up? You'll be like, can you come here, please? And then you'll point at it like you're a superintendent, like Miss Trunchbull in Matilda.
I'll never say it how you want me to say it.
No, but you
take offense to it all.
No, because you've never attempted the grand experiment of just asking me to clean the mess rather than pointing at it and saying you made a mess, like I'm a pup. So I would say that's a good way. That would be my suggestion. If you see a mess, this is what I wish existed in my lovely house. Although you have wonderful qualities too, Natasha. You're kind, you're beautiful, you're loving, you're deep, you're philosophical. But when it comes to pointing out something that you want changed, often it won't just be a request to change the thing. There'll be a request and then a semicolon and then an admonishment. So that's what I would recommend to this person. If you want the mess cleaned, this is how I think men like it. This is how men like. You ready for how men like it?
Okay, how?
Just say, "Hey, would you clean up your underwear?" Not, "Hey, would you clean up the underwear because it's all over the floor?" You know what I'm saying? Hey, would you mind grabbing all that stuff on the chaise lounge and cleaning that up? It's a non-judgmental, because when you do the extra judgmental thing, then sad man boy feels attacked or critiqued or talked down to, even if it's immature of him. If you want more simpatico, that's what I say. Just say, will you do the thing?
Right.
Are you despondent now?
I just feel like if I said that, if I just said, would you pick up the COVID test? You'd be like, yeah, when will you pick up what you just dropped?
Well, why don't we do an experiment? This is what the scientific method is for. You have right now a hypothesis. Your hypothesis is, if you were to non-judgmentally just ask the mess to be cleaned up, I would get defensive and bring up something that you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the scientific method says to apply that hypothesis to an experiment, right? Why don't you, for one time ever, attempt to do that? See if your hypothesis is correct, and then we will come to what we are is known in the scientific community, which I am. I'm a scientist. I have a PhD in molecular biology. Evidence, scientific evidence.
Okay, honey. Well, let's do that.
Let's give it a whirl.
Okay.
We'll give it a whirl. And you know what else we should give a whirl to?
What?
A couple of secrets.
Oh, yeah.
Hi. This is a secret. So you had a couple that were kind of odd first sexual awakenings, and it made me think of my first kind of dirty dream that I ever remember having. And it had to do with the movie E.T. Now, E.T. wasn't present in it, but it was about, that scene where they're like captured and they're in their tent and they have like the suction cups on them or whatever. It was kind of like that, and I was in that tent, and it was kind of like I was captured and a little bit bondagey. I'm realizing now that this might be my root of why I'm interested in bondage now. But at any rate, that was my first quasi-sex dream I've ever had. All right. Love the show. Bye.
How old was she?
Sounded young.
No, I mean when she had the sex dream.
Sounded young, I mean.
Oh, like 10?
I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, she didn't mention her age. Hi, I'm 38.
No, what age did she have her?
It sounded young. It sounded like a youth dream.
I see.
Isn't that when you get a fetish? Something happens. You watch a Spielberg film. For me, that's why I like shark teeth to be gnawing on my genitals when I have sex. That's what really gets me going.
Well, now I'm nervous because our 4-year-old watched E.T. on the plane.
I like for a woman to say, "Give us free," right before she has an orgasm. These are Spielberg films.
Yeah, I know, hon.
Yeah. Natasha, I have a question.
Yeah.
Bondage?
Do I like it?
Ever tried it? Like it?
No, I don't like it.
Yeah.
A ball
same.
gag I've had.
You've had one in?
Yeah, it's like
Really?
I think so.
You've done that in sex? A ball gag?
I think if someone
What do you mean you
wanted,
think so? What
well,
do you
I
mean you
just have a
think so?
memory of it.
That's a yes or a no.
I have a memory.
Ask me. Ask me.
Have you ever had a ball?
No, I know.
I think it was really small or something.
Oh, it was so small you forgot? What are you talking about? Just is a yes or a no? So yes.
Yes, it's a. But I don't.
You had it in?
Yeah, I think so.
Can I be honest with you?
What?
That sounds so hot, but not for the reasons you think.
Why do you think it's hot?
You with a ball gag in your mouth?
Because I would be quiet.
Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be something different.
I just, when you first start having sex, you're open to things to see what you like,
When did you become completely sexually closed? That's so interesting. You had a ball. I can't even imagine. You're so like not a humiliate me type, So it's interesting.
I think I probably didn't have it in for long.
Oh, you just were like, oh no, thank you, and took it right out.
Probably.
This is fascinating. This is a new. I'm learning so much about you.
All right. Well, we can keep learning more about each other, but we could also take a secret.
We could. Can I say one more thing about the ET?
What?
I think it's very interesting to have a sex dream about ET that doesn't involve fingering. That seems like so obvious.
It seems like
he's
long
got those
fingers.
long glowy fingers. Yeah,
right.
Like that's what I would think. You imagine how hard ET could hit your G spot. It'd be so easy for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he does seem like he has one of those things. Like he could have a long, hard penis too.
Oh, you think ET also has a long, glowing, tipped dick?
Could.
We didn't ever see ET's dick, did we? That's a real shame.
Well, did he wear clothes? Didn't he have like a
Wasn't
blanket on or something?
I think he was naked, right? He had a blanket on in the
Let's see, 'cause
bicycle.
if he's wearing clothes, maybe he did have a long one.
Does ET have there is ET porn out there, but that doesn't count because it's not official Spielberg canon. So any fan fiction porn doesn't really count. Right. Can somebody get us in touch? We do know Spielberg's daughter. We could ask her if she could ask her dad if ET had a dick and how big it was. Should we look into it?
Yeah, honey, let's do it.
That would be such a funny email for us to send. Hey, we were just discussing things on the podcast and we were wondering if you could hit your dad up. Did ET have a dick? Why didn't we see it? How long was it? Did it glow?
I mean, the answer is obviously no.
No, he doesn't have a penis? That doesn't make sense.
No, I mean, oh, wait, we have a picture.
We have a picture of what?
Wait, can I see?
Hold on. Our producer, Laura, has...
He's wearing diapers, right? Wait, hold on.
Our producer, Laura, has somehow procured a picture of ET's genitals. Have a seat, Natasha. Have a seat. Get into frame. What is it? Okay, he's got these crazy fingers that could just make you blast so hard. I mean, unbelievable. But then, yeah, there's just like an empty space. If you can zoom in on that, I don't know if you can, but there's just like an empty space. It's almost like willfully shadowed.
You know what it is? He kind of seems like what is it called? When you pause for a second.
Yeah.
What's it called? It's like
I'm not pausing. This is going in the podcast. What's what called?
No, when it's
You're not saying anything.
when your genitals are off.
Off?
Like
Castrated?
No, but you're called something.
A eunuch.
Yeah, that.
He's a eunuch. Yes, I think E.T. is probably eunuch, but only because it's a family-friendly movie. But in reality, he would have genitals. He has to procreate somehow. By the way, I'm noticing another thing, if you can get in on that. E.T., total dad bod. Terrible abs, just kind of a round abdomen. He's got a dad bod. E.T. All right, well, listen. Lady, I think that is pretty hot that the suction cups were there, and I think that is how you got into bondage. So thank you, Steven Spielberg. I actually got into bondage watching the Spielberg film Amistad. All right, let's play another secret.
Hey Tosh, hey Moshe. I have a secret. My secret is that I've had sex in cemeteries. I'm not really ashamed of it. It's actually a really nice place to go. It's beautiful. It's private. It's manicured super well. It's quiet. I actually love taking walks in cemeteries. But has anybody else had sex in cemeteries? Is this a thing? Now that I think about it, I think I had a lot of cemetery sex because I was dating pieces of shit who didn't have homes or lived with their moms. But yeah, I recommend it. I recommend cemetery sex. I don't want it to become super popular, but love a good cemetery sex. Thank you guys so much. I love you and keep the pod going. Okay, bye.
Okay, well, I've had cemetery sex.
You have? Jesus Christ, Natasha, what a bunch of reveals.
It was when we were both 16 and 17 and we didn't have a nice place to go. So in terms of having a public spot, if you don't have your own pad, cemetery sex is a pretty good way to go.
I want to say, first and foremost, whatever this woman did, I didn't love when she slammed our unhoused neighbors as pieces of shit, okay? But I did love the audio quality of that secret. Whatever she's doing, she was doing right, and I wish that our listeners would take a page out of her book. But that's not connected to cemetery sex. I grew up next to a cemetery. They owned my house, actually, growing up. And we did all kinds of things in that cemetery, including tagging on the graves.
Cool.
Now, that's worse than cemetery sex. But my friend did once have sex in that cemetery. He had a person bent over the grave, and they fucked it. They knocked the grave over. It fell over, and they were like, yike, and they left.
That cemetery is not that private. It's like on a hill.
It's a beautiful cemetery.
It is beautiful, but
Oakland
I'm just saying.
Chapel of the Chimes, Julia Morgan designed cemetery. That's a beautiful cemetery. If you're in Oakland, go check it out. We used to run from the security guard we called Elmer. I don't know. I think it said Elmer Security on the truck, and we would be getting high in the cemetery late at night, and we'd see Elmer come around, and we'd all run. Anyway, if you're out there, Elmer, I'm sure you're a listener. We're sorry for all the havoc that we caused. Natasha, how was your cemetery sex? Were you able to achieve climax?
It was more about let's do it in the cemetery, kind of fun.
Yeah, it's a taboo.
Yes, exactly. And I think it was probably in the winter and cold, and you're just kind of getting it in there.
Wait, you did it in a Rockford winter?
Or maybe it was spring. Honey, I don't remember. I just know I did it and checked it off a list.
You don't remember. You may have had a ball gag as you were bent over a grave. You're not positive. All right.
The ball gag wasn't. This is high school cemetery sex.
Oh, so the ball gag was when you were a little older.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, the cool thing about cemetery sex is it's not only tawdry. It's not only you're violating a rule of society, but you're also engaged in exhibitionism. People are watching the spirits of your grandparents, ghosts and stuff like that, and you might get a ghost baby.
I would have sex in a cemetery again.
With who?
You, if you want. You wouldn't though. You don't.
My style.
I know you don't like doing things against the rules. You're is there a sign here that says no trespassing? Signs. We need more signs. Excuse me, I have a question.
Yeah. Is there a sign at the cemetery that says no raw dog fucking? All right. Should we hear another?
Yeah.
Hey, Tosh. Hey, Moshe. This is a long-time caller, first-time listener. I was calling to leave you all a secret, half a story. I live out on a dirt road, kind of out in the middle of nowhere on 80 acres of property out in central Florida. And so I usually run on the dirt road. It's about 1.5 miles down and back, and there's probably 7 or 8 houses on it. And my secret is that I'll do this run in the middle of the night, completely naked except for my tennis shoes. And it's not sexual or anything. It's just there's a freedom and adrenaline when you're out running through a dirt road with cow pastures and the full moon above you, completely naked. And it was I was getting my best mile times I ever had until a few weeks ago. I was running back, and up behind me a truck roared over the hill and saw me. And so I'm start running as fast as I can. And in scary movies, when people trip when they're running, that really happens, because I was going full adrenaline, tripped very hard, rolled behind a pile of dirt or like gravel for construction. And so I crouched behind it, and I expected the truck to kind of, I know he saw me, but I expected him to keep going, and he pulled straight up to the gravel dirt and got out. And I'm cowering behind with just my tennis shoes, completely naked. And he gets out of his truck and starts circling the gravel. And as I start doing the thing where I'm keeping him 180 degrees away from me, I'm like how when squirrels chase themselves around a tree, I'm keeping him on the other side. And I crawl across the road, through a barbed wire fence into a field of like tall grass. And he doesn't know this. And I'm crawling away. And then I hear a gunshot. And I don't think he hadn't seen me. So he was not shooting at me. He was just shooting, I guess, to try to get me to come out. And I'm naked crawling through this tall grass and briars. And then I heard a second gunshot. And I finally made it back all the way across the field, hopped a different barbed wire fence, and made it back. I got cut up all over my legs, but I mean, I didn't die. So I haven't really told anybody, because everyone's going to call me an idiot and say, why are you doing that? And that's, I don't know. So I haven't really been able to tell anyone I've been hunted most dangerous game style. And so I wanted to tell you all that story, and hope you all have a good day.
Do you believe in Moshe?
Right. I do. I was in the middle, and I was asking myself this question, is this story true? But there were so many details that it's like, what is this guy doing? He's just coming up with like a heart-pounding thriller scene for us, and it doesn't make sense. I think it's true. I think this story's true.
And let me ask you this. Doesn't a guy, doesn't his dick and testicles, isn't that hard to run really fast and not have it?
That is actually the detail that's the most difficult to believe, because I have tried working out naked, because then you don't, have to do laundry afterwards, but it's too difficult, if you're doing jumping jacks and stuff, things are going to hurt. They're going to slop around.
And his dick is just like getting slashed in a briar.
Well, I don't know.
And
so you don't believe him? I
don't know. And would this guy shoot if he?
Now that
even
part
if he
was the most believable part of the whole story. I mean, that's what happens in Florida when someone's confused about any situation, is they just start shooting and they go, maybe this will work. So you think bullshit?
I liked his spirit.
So many details: 80 acres, dirt road, 1.5 miles, gravel pit, around briars, barbed wire. I mean, it's so many details.
I mean, if he really is running naked nightly, that is inspirational.
You want to try that with a ball gag in your mouth through a cemetery. Beautiful. All right. Well, Natasha, that's all we have time for today. I have to go.
All right. Well, I have to go too.
Well, I have things to do.
Well, I have to go.
Well, if you have a secret you'd like to leave us, go ahead and call us.
213-222-8608.
If you'd like to be on the pod, give us an email. Send us an email. Why do I say give us an email? endlesshoneymoonpod@gmail.com. You can also become a part of our community, the Honeymooners community, at Patreon/endlesshoneymoon. Join us for bonus content. Join us for mixtapes. Join us.
Oh, wow, you almost sneezed into that. What?
And Natasha, before we go.
Yes?
Ball gag and all, grave sex and all, I love you.
I love you too.